Henry Ford was born on July 30th, 1863, on a farm near Detroit, Michigan.
Hi, I'm Henry Ford. My father is William Ford, my mother Mary Ford. I have two sisters, Margaret and Jane, and two brothers, William and Robert.
In 1876, his mother died and he left home to become a machinist apprentice. He also studied bookkeeping at Goldsmith, Bryant, and Stratton Business College in Detroit. Ford married Clara Alla Bryant in 1888 and had a son, Edsel Ford, 5 years later. In 1891, Ford became an engineer with the Edison Illuminating Company. In 1893, when he was promoted to chief engineer, he started his own experiments.
Years later, I finally completed construction of a self-propelled vehicle that I called the Ford Quadricycle. On October 5th, 1899, I founded the Detroit Automobile Company. But after only 2 years in business, I had to shut it down because automobiles produced were more expensive and low quality than I liked. But with the help of my stockholders in the old company, I created the Henry Ford Company.
In 1902, Ford left the company and it was renamed the Cadillac Automobile Company by his partner William H. Murphy. Teaming up with racing cyclist Tom Cooper, Ford produced the 80-horsepower Racer 999, which Barney Oldfield was to drive to victory in a race in October 1902. They formed a partnership, Ford and Malcolmson Ltd., to manufacture automobiles. The team leased a factory and Ford went to work designing an inexpensive automobile.
In my latest design, I gave an exhibition on the ice of Lake St. Clair.
He drove 1 mile in 39.4 seconds. This was the new land speed record.
Then I had an idea. I went to work right away.
Ford's new idea, the Model T, was introduced in October 1, 1908. It had the steering wheel on the left, which no other car had at the time.
I just thought I'd add something new.
The car was very simple to drive and easy and cheap to repair. It was so cheap at $825 that by the 1920s, many American drivers had learned to drive the Model T. Ford's network of local dealers made the car virtually ubiquitous.
Sales skyrocketed. Several years posted 100% gains on the year before. Always looking for more efficiency and lower costs, I put moving assembly belts into my plant in 1913, which allowed for a huge increase in production.
By 1916, sales reached 472,000. Ford wrote later in his autobiography,
"Any customer can have any car painted any color that he wants, so long as it's black. Black was the only color I used because of its quicker drying time, but later I decided that it would be fun to add new colors."
By 1926, the dwindling sales of the Model T convinced Ford to create a new model. In December 1927, he introduced the new Model A. Produced through to 1931 with a total of more than 4 million sales, the Model A was also a success with a sliding shift transmission and sleek design.
I let Edsel do the designs. I guess it was a pretty good idea.
In September 1945, Ford granted the presidency to his grandson and went into retirement.
I decided I was getting too old for the job.
At age 83, Henry Ford died of a cerebral hemorrhage, an internal bleed within the brain tissue. He was buried in the Ford Cemetery in Detroit. He has forever impacted the world of mechanics.